When did you realize your commanding officer was completely incompetent? For me, it was during a routine training exercise when our brand new second lieutenant led us 15 miles in the wrong direction and then blamed the GPS. I was a staff sergeant with 6 years in the Army assigned to Fort Bragg. Our platoon had just gotten Lieutenant Jake Miller straight from officer school. Kid was 22, college graduate, eager to prove himself as a leader. The mission was simple. Take our squad 12 miles north to secure a mock enemy position during war games. Basic land navigation stuff we'd done hundreds of times. Should have been a 4-hour round trip. Lieutenant Miller insisted on leading personally instead of letting our experienced point man navigate. Said he wanted hands-on leadership experience. Red flag number 1. 2 hours in, I noticed we were heading east instead of north. Pulled out my compass, checked our position against the map. We were way off course, moving toward a restricted artillery range. Sir, I said quietly, we need to adjust our bearing. We're heading into a live fire zone. He barely glanced at my compass. The GPS says we're on track, Sergeant. Technology beats your old school methods. Problem was, his GPS wasn't military grade. Just some civilian hiking device he'd bought online. Those things lose signal constantly in heavy tree cover. But he wouldn't listen. Another hour passed. Now we were completely lost in thick woods, nowhere near our objective. Worse, I could hear artillery rounds landing in the distance. We were definitely approaching the danger zone. Sir, we need to stop and reassess our position. Those are live rounds ahead of us. Lieutenant Miller looked annoyed. Sergeant, I appreciate your concern, but I'm the officer here. I know how to read a map. Except he was holding the map upside down. I could see it clearly from where I stood. The kid had been navigating backwards for 3 hours and didn't realize it. That's when things got dangerous. We crested a hill and found ourselves overlooking the artillery impact zone. Shells were landing maybe 800 meters ahead of us, way too close for safety. The whole squad froze. Even our newest private knew we were in serious trouble. But Lieutenant Miller kept pushing forward. We're almost there, he announced confidently. Just over that next ridge. That next ridge was exactly where the artillery was landing. I'd had enough. Made the hardest decision of my military career. Sir, I'm taking over navigation. This is a safety issue. You can't override my authority, Sergeant. That's insubordination. Then court-martial me later, sir. Right now, I'm keeping these soldiers alive. I pulled out my real military GPS, got an accurate position fix, and started leading us back towards safety. Lieutenant Miller followed, complaining the entire way about NCOs who don't respect officer authority. We finally reached our actual objective 6 hours late. The exercise had ended 3 hours earlier. Command was furious, especially when they discovered we'd been wandering around a live fire zone. The after-action review was brutal. Captain Williams, our company commander, listened to Lieutenant Miller's version first. Blamed equipment failure and difficult terrain. Then he asked for my report. I laid out everything. The wrong direction, the upside-down map, the refusal to listen to safety warnings, the near miss with artillery. Captain Williams studied our actual GPS track on his computer. 6 hours of wandering in circles, ending up in a restricted zone. His face went pale. Lieutenant Miller, you nearly got your entire squad killed today. That artillery range is clearly marked on every map we issue. But sir, the GPS malfunctioned and Sergeant Davis undermined my authority. The captain looked at me. Sergeant Davis, did you override your platoon leader's orders? Yes, sir. I believed it was necessary to prevent casualties. You made the right call. He turned back to Miller. Lieutenant, effective immediately, you're reassigned to battalion staff. You'll spend the next 6 months learning basic land navigation before you lead soldiers again. Miller tried to argue, but the damage was done. Word spreads fast in the Army. Within a week, every NCO on base knew about the lieutenant who got lost with a GPS and nearly walked his squad into an artillery barrage. 6 months later, I heard Miller had been transferred to a logistics unit at Fort Leonard Wood. Desk job. No more field leadership responsibilities. Our new platoon leader was a first lieutenant with 3 years experience and enough sense to listen to his NCOs. First thing he said during our initial meeting was asking me to teach him the best navigation routes around our training areas. That GPS incident became required reading at the officer basic course. They use it to teach new lieutenants about the importance of listening to experienced NCOs and understanding their equipment limitations. Last month, I got promoted to sergeant first class. The citation specifically mentioned decisive leadership during a critical safety situation. Captain Williams wrote the recommendation personally.